Hi everyone, and welcome to this Keptn community and developer meeting. Today is February 4th. We have quite an agenda here. As I can see, we got two new contributions also from the Keptn community. But as usual, I'm asking you to fill in your names in the list of attendees, and I will just go ahead to give you an example. Just write in your name. You can also add your affiliation if you want to, but the name is also just fine. If you are not yet an owner or of this document, the Keptn team, the maintainers, will approve your addition to this document, and I will go ahead and also share this in the chat, so you will have this link also. Here you go. So this is the link, and you can just add your name here. Thank you very much. While you're doing this, let's start with the first agenda item. That is our new relaunch or release of the new front page of Keptn.sh. You might have already seen it. It got a little bit of an overhaul, and you can see it's now more focused on the core use cases, instead of focused so much on the technology and how you get started. We still provide some prominent points how to get started, which will bring you to the quick start section, and it's still the same experience. You just bring your Kubernetes cluster and then get started. Just tried it out today. I think the installation took about 1.5 minutes, which I was surprised that it's so fast. But yeah, this is our new website. We are actively looking for feedback. So if you have some feedback, please put it in the in our Slack channel, or reach out to us on the various other channels that we have. Twitter is fine, our mailing list is fine, but also if you already joined our Slack, we have a website channel there, and we appreciate your feedback. Heman already mentioned it, and I will just put it in here. I thought I already did it, but we are now part of the LFX mentorship program. So Keptn has applied with 2 projects, and I will just paste the link. Oh, not this link. Maybe I have it still here. It's this link. I paste it in here. If you're interested in contributing to open source, and if you're particularly interested in contributing to Keptn, we have proposed 2 projects. One is focused on integrating to write a better integration for Prometheus for Keptn, and the other one is focused on working on the Keptn CLI and providing a way to get kind of a kickstart to integrate with new services to Keptn, to kind of create the skeleton and a template where you can already start with your Keptn integration. So this is our 2 projects. If you're interested, please take a look there and apply via the CNCF, and then the Keptn mentors, the Keptn maintainers will find or will accept the applications. So with that, I think I'm opening up a discussion here. We have an ongoing discussion if we should hide implementation details in the API, or it's around the naming of API endpoints. Maybe Johannes or Christian or Andreas, you can share something. I was not part of the last meeting, so I'm not 100% up to date here.
All right. Jürgen, I will share my screen because I have it open.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I pulled in this discussion because the team is currently discussing how we should call certain API endpoints, because we want to hide some implementation details on the API and thought about renaming API endpoints. And as you already know, there is the configuration minus service endpoint, then there is the MongoDB data store endpoint. And these 2 gentlemen, we want to rename into /API resources. And the second one to /API event store. And the default endpoint of Keptn should be /API control plane, where you can then send events to, and you get also the endpoint to fetch events. Now, it was a little bit my concern whether we should stick with the name of event store for this particular endpoint, because when we have the name store in there, we kind of conclude that there must be something like a store, but maybe in the future this won't be the case, and that I propose to just call it /events endpoint, because then we are pointing to the entity that gets managed by this API endpoint and not the implementation behind that. All right, yeah, and this is currently ongoing discussion. We have not found a conclusion yet, and this would now be the place where we should start discussing this topic.
Do you want us to do the discussion? Basically, should we take 5 minutes for discussion here, or should we discuss it on? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's please use 5 minutes.
Sure. So I can already share my opinion. I think it's a good idea. The last comment that you made to have it just called events, not only because of the points that you mentioned, but also that we can avoid the camel casing here that I think we don't have in other parts in Keptn. And I would also go to rename control plane to control plane, but with lowercase, without the uppercase P, just to kind of avoid any confusion. And then I think it would be API control plane, API resources, API events. That would make sense for me.
Let me just summarize what you have said, but the others are welcome to bring in their idea.
I also allow, we have other members also joining. Hi, Chris. I will just allow you also to unmute if you want to share your opinion.
So, Bernd, you brought up one argument that we shouldn't have control plane inside the URL because it's not a resource, right?
Yes, because now we have the other two, which says events, which are kind of a REST resource. We have resources, which are also resources, and on the other hand, we have control plane, which is from a REST principles point of view, no resource, so to say, but I don't know if it's a good idea to look on this that strictly, because what are the alternatives?
And
so what do I get when I ask, or which entities can I query from control plane?
let me give you the example from
Johannes,
control.
that's perfect.
I'm opening up the API.
But it's mainly Keptn entities, project services.
This is what you get on the control plane endpoint, an endpoint for sending event and fetching events, and then the endpoints to manage a project and service. That's pretty much it.
If I could ignore the technical implementation, I would like to have it directly in the root. So
kind of that approach.
That would be best.
Right there.
This way. Just to have it on the default endpoint.
I know the technical implementation will not that easy because we also have a Swagger UI or API also for our API service, but I guess it would be the most logical implementation.
And we still have two different versions of events. We have an API v2, API v1 events, and there is API events v1.
So, right, but the second, so API events v1 is only in the store of the events. So a user should only use this for querying events which happened. And this will contain a single or two endpoints for retrieving the events, but not for posting events there.
And can I retrieve events also via API v1 events?
No,
because this is what I saw in the Swagger UI. There will be API v1 and then projects, services, events. I think that's the three.
Just event.
Or event. Event. Okay. But the second one, the get, will give me events. It says here, get triggered events. So I will
good point. We also have to streamline this, but let's do this discussion on a level up. So on this level, not on the endpoint level, because otherwise it will get really complicated now.
Yeah. Just to give my 2 cents, I like this approach to have it on the default endpoint, all the control plane relevant elements.
I like it. My only concern was that there are two event endpoints that are very similar, and the first starts with API v1 event, and the other one is API events v1, and you have to know which one you have to take. But I like the approach that it's not the control plane in it, because it does not. You don't have to. You're not querying something from the control plane. And I think that also was from the community, from Adrian. I think he also mentioned earlier on the part that Andreas mentioned, +1.
Yeah. Then we only have to find a technical solution for that.
Is it because we then need to somehow merge the Swagger UIs?
Right. Or get rid of the API service. I don't know. So, but let's do this technical discussion on the issue.
Yeah.
Then I will take a summary and want to say that we agreed on this. All right. Thanks. This was it from my side, discussing this issue.
Great, perfect. Thanks so much. I will just briefly share where the agenda is going. And up next, we are already discussing noteworthy issues and contributions, and we start with our community contributions. I will hand it over to Hima. I think it's your first contribution to the Keptn project, so really very much appreciated. Thank you for that. And we usually do a quick demo, or just showing on the issue, on the PR, what you have achieved.
Sure, Ruben. Thank you. I'll just share my screen.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
okay.
looks good.
Awesome. So the first contribution to Keptn was I picked up this issue where the CLA basically didn't have support for shell auto completion. So thanks to these both links, and Keptn CLI uses overall. So I had checked it out. I had learned how to write auto completions, and I proposed a PR for the same. It got merged. So a quick demonstration would be if I just go to my terminal and do Keptn and just press tab, it will show you all the available commands that's there. So even if I go on, like for example, you need to provide an API token and an endpoint, so it can give a good description. Right. So that was the first PR. And the second issue which I picked up was this one, where let's say you have a Keptn CLI version of 0.7.1, but there's a new version of Keptn that's out there, and you want to upgrade your cluster. So first, as the issue suggests, that we did not provide any like a like a command which they could the user could right, just copy paste in their terminal and upgrade their Keptn CLI right from there. They have to either go search how to do that. So that was the first part of the issue, and the second part was when you do a Keptn upgrade and your CLI version is lagging behind. For example, right now the CLI is 0.7.1, but 0.7.3 is available. It would produce this message, which is not pretty intuitive. So I proposed see I proposed issue where we could show something like whenever you run Keptn upgrade, it would first do a quick CLI version check, and if there's a new CLI version, it would prompt the user to upgrade their CLI first, which would then enable them to upgrade their cluster with ease. So as you can see, I think I have an old build that is running up, which is currently on 0.7.1 as the issue mentions. So here you can see when I put Keptn version, it tells that a new version is available, and it right here gives a command. So I could just copy paste it right into my terminal, and I could upgrade with ease. And if I run like Keptn upgrade, so it would first do a CLI check. Yeah. So as a new version is available, it just prompted me, the user, to upgrade my CLI version first so that I can upgrade my Keptn cluster. So that's about it. So both these two issues were related to more of user experience side of Keptn CLI, so that it's easier for people to use. So I think that's about it.
Sorry, I was muted. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. For the second part, I did not get it that it. So you were already on the latest version, or you kind of you
No, I kind of built an older version to demonstrate how it would work out.
got it. Okay. Okay. Cool. Are there any questions from the community to Hima? Robert, if you want to unmute yourself, that's perfectly fine. And just
Well, thank you, Robert. Yes, I'm a ZSH user, and if I may, I forgot to share something. So, in case for the auto completion to work, you can type in like a kept. Oh, my bad. You can type in Keptn completion and give a flag. It would tell you how to enable auto completion in your shell. So I'm a ZSH user using power level 10K. So I can like directly, it tells me what to do. And if you're a Bash user or if you're a Mac OS user, it will tell you how to enable the auto completion for it to work with Keptn. So this is something which I missed. So that's there. Once you put all that configurations in your .bash profile or .zsh.rc, you can just go Keptn and hit tab for the auto completion to trigger.
cool. I'm really, I'm looking very much forward to give it a try. That looks cool. Thanks so much for this contribution. If there are any more questions, please just ask the questions. Otherwise, I will be asking Adrian to share his screen and show his contribution on the custom MongoDB deployment. And I think there's also another one. So
yeah, I just added another one just to sum it up. Thank you. So let me share my screen if I find the. Yeah. So actually there were two contributions. One was very simple and pretty similar to what has been just presented, but in a different repository. It's in this get Keptn sh. And let me share the whole screen. Yeah, so the contribution was related to auto-detecting version. And I submitted some code that would basically find the latest version. The most tricky part was actually curling releases from GitLab and proper grepping and using awk, because we run into issue with getSH CI tests, where something that was working for me locally on Mac was not working on I don't remember what you use for CI or Travis, right?
It was Travis back then, yeah.
Yeah, that was tricky part, because, and it was super strange because I was coding it on Mac and and it didn't work on Mac. But anyway, we used very simple solution, and I'm very sorry I don't remember. I think it was Christian, right, who was helping me. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
And I think also he did some notable improvements on the pull requests. But anyway, we used some functions for the like atomic functions for Bash script that made it a bit clear. So we are basically getting either the latest version or the pool of latest versions. And we are also verifying if the comments like curl are installed. And then we have some code for basically checking if the provided Keptn version is correct. If it's not, we are checking all the available versions. So there are basically few ways you can use this right now. First of all, you can provide a proper version of Keptn, let's say 060, and we're gonna pull for 060, and we're gonna install it. The other usage is when you don't provide the version at all, then it should use the latest released version, 073. And the last, let's say, edge case I can think about is using the Keptn version that doesn't exist. Then we will have the information that the selected version is not proper. I don't know why the formatting here is a bit off, but I think it should just list all the versions. So this is something maybe to fix, but it's listing all the available versions for the user if they made a mistake. So this is the pull request number 2. So it was very nice to contribute on this one, and thanks Christian for help. And the other thing was during our own implementation of Keptn in Kitopi, we discovered that using external Mongo, not the one that is provided within the Keptn installation, is pretty low-hanging fruit, because it requires only a few changes to the Helm charts. And again, I was not alone on this one. So this time, Andreas was helping me with this PR. So finally, what came out is that we are able to use the Helm chart and provide, instead of using the built-in MongoDB for Keptn, we can use our own MongoDB instance. So I have in my Kubernetes cluster here, I have Mongo namespace, where I have my MongoDB. And basically this is taken from Bitnami Helm chart, so nothing special. But the important thing is that I was using previously this Mongo to deploy Keptn, so I already have some project created here. And I don't have Keptn. I deleted all the namespace. So now when I just use the Helm chart with proper values, and I will steal the values here. I don't need this one, so I'll use this one. So we can install the Helm chart passing some additional values, and the additional values are, first of all, control plane MongoDB host. We are passing the host of external MongoDB. In my case, it's service of MongoDB in Mongo namespace. We are also, the most important part, we are also setting control plane MongoDB enabled to false, which will not deploy the internal MongoDB with Keptn, but will use the external one. We will also pass username, MongoDB password for this Keptn user. And as additional feature, we can also pass use admin password for the advanced features. And once we deploy this, of course, the demo effect. So once we have our chart here, of course, for external users, it's gonna be the chart somewhere on our own Helm repository. We can deploy this Helm chart, and we were fighting with the deployment before the presentation because I had my own fork.
You have to go one level up.
Oh, sure, because I'm inside the Keptn. Yep, demo effect as always. So now we should deploy the whole Keptn control plane with all the required applications. Even a bit too much because we're gonna have this statistics service. I'm on master, so it's not released version. So as previously, we will just get rid of it. So as you can see, the applications here are deployed, but there is no MongoDB. So let's wait for them to create. Okay. And now I will just use my port forwarding, use Keptn. And now I will just steal again for the big chunk of comments I need to use to authenticate. Oop. Maybe the service is not running yet. Any ideas?
Yeah, so we had this a few minutes ago up and running.
Yeah, so the demo effect for sure, but
just try to do again a port forward.
Okay.
To kill it and reopen it.
Should it include the path here? It just says path /API/one not found. Should it include the host name as well on the error message on the in the middle, or is no? It says it could not send a request to localhost.
That's interesting in this case.
So did you update your CLI? No.
No, I didn't update it. So like there is no changes basically. We have this one.
Can we try to go to the Swagger UI? Localhost.
Okay.
8080/Swagger-UI /API. Sorry. /API, and you will be forwarded.
That's interesting.
Maybe the port forward is not working. Maybe you have to port forward on port 8081 I also have this sometimes when I open and kill port forwards and something is not working.
Maybe, or maybe this is even simpler. Maybe I broke something when I was having fun with get Keptn here.
But still, the Swagger API should be with, or yeah, we should reach it.
Mm.
Let's try another port, 8081 maybe.
Do you remember which is which? This one is I think from the host, right? No, wrong. Ah, so
No,
it was correct.
It was.
And let's give it a try.
No,
And
it's not working. Why it's not working?
are you getting the bridge? So just delete API in your browser.
Just like this, right? No, that's not nice. Should be working.
Nevertheless, I guess we do not have to fix it now because it's not related to your change. The feature you have implemented is awesome because this now allows users to simply use their own existing MongoDB.
Yeah, okay. But it was wrong forwarding. It should be forwarding from port 80. The service of AP Gate when Nginx is not hosting on, should be hosting on 80. Okay, so now it should be working.
Documentation, is this incorrect in the documentation? We have to fix this.
Actually, I have it stored in my big bag of
okay.
big bag of anything. So maybe I made a mistake. It's a demo effect. Okay, so anyway, we should be able to get here after all this beautiful fight.
Really cool feature.
Yeah, you need to pay the price. And yeah, and we have the thing that we have in external database of Mongo. So I was trying to create project from here, but actually I have the Keptn CLI from 0.7.3, which is not compatible with master anymore. So let's just stop here, that we can use the external DB that is basically here in Mongo namespace mongodb. And I think if we have some logging, then maybe we can see something here in the logs. I don't know if it's logged or not when we open the project. Yeah, there is something. Yeah, and we should have some old artifacts. So as you can see, it's using the external MongoDB. So thanks. Not the smoothest, but it's working.
Really cool, really cool. I know that we already had some Keptn users asking for this to have an external MongoDB somewhere on the same cluster, but with in the different namespace. You also had it on the same cluster, but just in a different namespace, right? It was not a different cluster.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, but what Andreas fixed in PR, and it's a very good idea to have the basically host and port together, and we are just using one host and port variable, so you can point to any network available service.
Cool. Cool.
So thanks guys, and thanks for help again.
Are there any questions for Adrian?
Oh, sorry.
Then I'm handing over to Erwin. He's also he has prepared something to show us today. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Adrian. And I'm going to present 3 pull requests today. One is the sequence style refinement. The second one, I have already presented that one last week, but there have been some more changes during this week. on that one. So that's why I wanted to present that one again and just show the details here. And one thing that was implemented by Klaus, but he is not with us on Thursdays. So I'm going to present also that one, that we now highlight the selected stage in the timeline. This is also coupled with the second pull request to the sequence details. Yeah, as you can see here in the pull request, the screenshot, but I will also show a live demo. The sequence style refinement is about this tile here on the left side, where we show the currently ongoing sequences and details to this sequence. So when it started, how long it took, and what was the recent task, and also the artifact and the stages it went through. In the second pull request, I will show it in a live demo because here I also have only a screenshot. We added more details to these tasks. So when you expand them, and yeah, the stage timeline now also highlights the selected one so that you can see which stage you're currently looking at. And yeah, coming to the live demo. So when you click on the sequences screen, you now see the list of sequences that are executed or have been executed in your Keptn installation. As you can see, I have here an artifact delivery running. It started, yeah, a few minutes, 2 minutes or already 3 minutes ago. The recent task is release. And yeah, it already finished successfully in the dev stage, and currently it's in the staging stage. When I click on that one, I can see on the right side the stages. As you can see, the staging stage is currently selected here. It's bold and yeah, a little bit larger than the other stages. You see the progress indicator also here, and that the release is currently going on. As we can see, the evaluation finished. And when I expand that one, now I can also see the details about this evaluation step. So you can see that the Lighthouse service started here and finished with result pass. And yeah, here on the right side, I can also have a look at the payload of each of those events that happened in this sequence. Yeah, and as you can see that now the progress is already in the production stage, and I can switch by clicking here on this timeline between stages, and I can see the steps that happened inside that stage. Yeah, that's actually from my side. Are there any questions?
I mean, I think I added a comment on the pull request and just want to make sure when you zoom out now a little bit, is then this part of where you're showing the
Oh, yes.
sequences now 100%?
Yes, this is filling now the screen. So
okay, cool.
yeah, I cannot demonstrate it now because my list is here pretty full of events. But yeah, it would, or it will always expand to 100%. At least here is a padding, but it will always have the full height. So I guess when zooming out,
Perfect.
Yeah, you can
Perfect.
see that it's always full. But yeah, zooming and big screens are not always the same effect. But yeah, in this case, it will always use 100% of the height.
What I really like is that you can see in the tile already the status of the different stages. Dev is green, staging is green, and yeah, production is green as well. And I assume that it will turn red when there is a problem. Yeah, cool.
Of course, that's what I wanted to show. If one of these stages is broken, or one of the stages in a sequence is broken, it will show that sequence or that stage in red. Yes.
Okay.
And for example, yeah, here for some reason the deployment was not working. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Can I go back to the error?
to the error message. Oh yes, that's just the message that I get in the payload, which is of course here also showing up. Yeah.
Very helpful. Very helpful.
I think a lot of users were looking for this to get an understanding what happened for certain tasks.
I think that the Keptn team is always happy to see error messages. They are not that frequent, but when they happen, it's important that we see them.
I like those messages more. Finished release. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Already based on the new shipyard format. So, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So this is already the new shipyard with yeah, that enables actually that we show this ongoing progress, because yeah, when the release step is triggered, we have a started and a finished event, which is here kind of grouped into one tile, and yeah, showing us the progress also.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's from my side, and I'm handing over to Christian.
Christian is next.
So I have a lot of things to show or to tell. Actually, I won't show everything, so I'll just start with this one. I've introduced the Pentabot, which is, well, technically it's already there, but you can configure it to scan Go modules in the mono repository that we have.
Can you make it bigger, the font size? So
yeah.
we can... Thank you.
So essentially there's it's very slow. So essentially it's a config file, and what it does is it creates a lot of pull requests. If you are one of the 17 people that are watching the project, I'm sorry, because it created roughly 100 pull requests for updating a dependency. But that's basically what it does. So it's fine. We have a lot of PRs that we need to look into. For instance, upgrading Go Open API string format will break our build apparently, and that's also one of the nice things now. So we get one pull request for each update, and we immediately see, oh, this one breaks our build, this one doesn't. So that's a nice overview, and we immediately know if we need to pay attention to this upgrade regarding code changes. All right. Yeah, I don't want to go into details into the PRs. You can look at them up if you want to. I've also added PRs for Keptn contrib repositories. They still need some reviews, but that's a feature that we will have in all our repositories. So we are always up to date with third-party dependencies. And actually, if we release a new version of Go utils, you will also get a notification via Pentabot that there is a new version of Go utils. So we can use this on our own. Any questions regarding this feature or PR? Okay, if not, I'll jump to the next one. In our Go utils library and in our CLI, we had the xip.io resolver. Essentially, back with Keptn 0.6, we had some code that I just looked up the wrong one here. Or no, it's this one, yeah. We had some code that just checked if the domain that we were trying to access for accessing the Keptn API, for instance, contains xip.io, and if it did, we just applied a regex and extracted the IP address. The reason for that was that xip.io was unreliable in a lot of cases, and it caused problems when installing Keptn. It caused problems for workshops and even for our integration tests. Nowadays, we don't use xip.io anymore. We focus on nip.io, which is a lot more stable. And actually, we don't even need nip.io anymore, because we have now so many other install options where we just use the Kubernetes load balancer setup, and then we just use an IP address to directly access the Keptn API. So yeah, this code essentially was not needed anymore, and I have removed it because, yeah, it's old and not needed. Any questions here?
But still, if somebody uses xip.io and xip.io is in the moment unreliable, he will get an error.
but we don't recommend it. So it's like saying we're fixing DNS for the world and we're starting with Xip.io, but that's not our issue, to be honest. That's an issue of Xip.io and the end user. We're
I
not
agree.
fixing Windows bugs or macOS or Linux bugs in our code.
I agree, yeah. But we had lots of users who were using Xip.io.
Because we recommended it. It was our default setting in 0.6 and before. And I actually double checked. We use nip.io in the tutorials, and I've never seen an issue with nip.io. And in fact, we didn't have the code for nip.io, so it should be fine. Yeah, next thing regarding the Pentabot updates, I did some manual cleanups of some dependencies because we didn't want to have each and every single pull request that needed to be merged. So we did some manual cleanups, and I had some dependencies that I didn't know where they're coming from. So I double checked, and I found that it was auto injected by the IDE, and I've reverted that change.
How long will it take to clean up all the new pull requests? How many of them introduce broken changes?
It's a good question because some of these OpenAPI PRs introduce some breaking changes that I need to look into, but I think it's 1 or 2 functions that we need to look into, and then we can do a mass update once we fix them. But I will write an issue for that, and I will not do the pull requests one by one because that would take too long.
So those
By
are
the way,
those are hopefully just minor changes.
yeah, I think the one that are a little bit worse to look into are these, for instance, upgrading the Helm library that we're using, or kubectl or Kubernetes API. So these are also not necessarily libraries that we need to update to the very latest version. So we can do incremental updates here, but if we do the full update, it breaks. But again, we'll need to look into it, and if we don't do it right now, we can still do it in 1 month or 2 months. It's not mega urgent, but it's nice to know that we have something to do. Okay,
if we don't do it now, can we somehow put those pull requests further down or so? Is it possible?
You can filter if you really want to. So for instance, you can filter for user Pentabot and then put a minus in front of it. That will remove all the PRs. So minus order app Pentabot. I can share the link with you. But we will close the PRs if we don't update them at some point. Okay. Next one is a pull request for Keptn's Bridge, a minor bug fix essentially. I'll actually just double check the issue. Yeah, if we send the configuration change, or nowadays with Keptn 08, an artifact delivery event containing a configuration change payload without an image, Bridge was, well, crashing and printing this error. And this was enough actually for me to look into it. The get short image name basically had it to be adapted that it works with an empty values object. It's nothing too special to show, but it's been fixed. Another thing that I looked into was code coverage, because we had a problem with code coverage not reporting properly. I converted our pipeline to run the code coverage for every test if the test is executed. So that was our problem actually. We are in a monorepo and we only execute the test under certain conditions, because if we would execute the test every time for every subdirectory in this repository, then a README change would actually take 6-7 minutes in the continuous integration system, which is not what we want. But that introduced the problem with code coverage. So we do now send the coverage report after the tests are executed for each test. And we flag the tests with the name of the module or of the subdirectory we test. For instance, here we're testing API. Here we're testing the OpenShift route service, JMeter service, and so on. And this, in addition, with a carry forward flag, it's a setting essentially, leads to, need to show you on an up-to-date pull request actually. Let's just take this one from one of our contributors. So this, in addition with the carry forward flag, now leads to PRs that carry the last coverage from the last commit and only recalculate the coverage for the commit that this is about. So in this case, the contributor has updated the tests for the CLI or has introduced some code for the CLI, maybe with some tests, and the coverage for the CLI has slightly changed. But all the others are unchanged. Don't know why distributor service is having an issue here. I need to look into that, but most likely the flag is wrong. Any questions on that? Cool. Yeah, there are some smaller changes for GitHub Actions and integration test workflows, like caching, some more debug output, and the possibility to draft releases, which enhances our releasing process a lot. There's nothing really special to show or talk about here, so I'll just continue to one thing that's a little bit more involved. That's our mini shift setup for integration tests. And as Bernd has troubleshooted and posted here, the integration tests for Minishift fail. And I think with the help of Florian, we found out that Minishift, or actually the Dynatrace SLI service on Minishift, is not able to access the, there we go, to access the Dynatrace environment that we're using for monitoring. And I also did some more troubleshooting, and I found out that apparently on Minishift, regardless of what I do, like setting a name server, or I think I did something else here. Setting a name server and other things. Regardless of what I do, I cannot access a website or anything that's outside of the cluster from my Minishift cluster if I use an Alpine-based image. So we've seen this before. This is actually a known issue that we've posted here on the troubleshooting guide for 0.7, where fully qualified domain names cannot be reached from within the cluster. It's a combination of Alpine-based containers and the fact that you might have a search domain set that doesn't respond with an NX domain, but responds with an error when querying for a certain domain. And I mean, that would be the domain that is set on our Minishift container, and we cannot influence it because this is predefined by GitHub Actions, or actually in the background it's running Azure. So right now I had to close this issue with a won't fix because we cannot fix this other than disabling the integration test for Minishift. But why am I talking in that level of detail to you? Because maybe someone of you has an idea how we can fix this problem, or has seen a fix for this problem, other than upgrading or changing all our containers from Alpine-based containers to, let's say, Debian or Ubuntu-based containers, or even going for Scratch containers. Okay, if you don't have anything to add, or if you want to comment on the issue, maybe that's fine. Maybe just a quick look into the round. Is it okay that we disable the integration test for Minishift then? Because right now it will just keep failing until the end of everything.
I think it's okay to disable them now.
And just doing this SLI query not for the Minishift, would this be an option?
Yeah, I would disable it for Minishift exclusively. All the others will still work. So for Google, it will still work. For K3S, it will still work. It's really just disabling the quality gates integration test on Minishift.
But do we have to disable the complete test, or just this SLI query?
I guess we could disable one of the steps, but that would be really ugly, because that means I have to add into our code for the integration test. I would have to add an if platform equals Minishift, or otherwise I could just say to my integration test runner, which is GitHub Actions, if we are on Minishift, we will skip this test.
Okay.
Any more?
And this was never working before, So
on
why?
Travis CI it worked. On GitHub Actions
oh,
it
sorry.
didn't.
Yeah, right. Good.
So
Yeah.
not everything with Travis is bad. Just the fact that they killed open source projects, but never mind. Okay, last but not least, I feel.
Christian, sorry to interrupt. We only have 2 more minutes left. I have a hard stop because I have to jump to another meeting. I will give the host to you, Christian, so you can still present this, or we can move it to the next meeting as you want.
It's just quick word. I'm working on multi-architecture support for the CLI only. For instance, for ARM-based builds, the PR is open for review. And the end result, the artifact will be that we have more CPU architectures supported with the next Keptn release for the CLI, not for the Docker images. Docker image is a different story, just making this clear. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks so much for sharing this also, Christian. I think if we have some CLI or Docker image specialists here that also want to change the architecture or make a broader variety available, please let us know. I just want to thank especially the new contributors to the Keptn project. Thanks so much for your contributions. So you now know most of the Keptn team. A couple of folks from the core team have not been able to join today. So please also join next week on Thursday to also get to know the others. And we're looking forward to more contributions. So yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. If there are more questions, please continue the discussion. But unfortunately, I have to leave, and have a nice evening, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.